Here comes the truth. Tell me what they might gonna do now, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get into today's lesson. Right, if I can find it. There we go. Today's lesson is having balance in Christ, living in such emotional times. I think so. Having balance in Christ, living in such emotional times. It seems that living in this day and age, and as we get closer to Christ's return, people are becoming more and more emotionally unstable, to the point to where it has become harder and harder to interact with those around you. Everyone seems to be emotional about everything. What is going on in this world and society that is leading mankind to become so unstable emotionally? Do the scriptures give us insight on why this emotional condition would exist on such a high level in the end times? And do the scriptures give us insight on how to have balance in Christ when it comes to dealing with our emotions and emotional situations? We hope to answer these questions and more with this lesson. So we're going to get the definition of emotion. All right?
Yep. Emotion, a conscious mental reaction such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object, and typically accompanied by psychological
Physiological.
Slovakia, physiological and behavioral changes in the body.
Right. So, because if it's, we have to understand when we get upset, what happens? You can feel when you're upset. You can feel that rage or that anger or that, some would say that heat, huh? Your blood pressure is going up. My man, you raised my blood pressure. You know, we heard that, right? So physiological changes in our body, right? Right. Let's look at this for a minute. A conscious mental reaction. Conscious mental reaction. The reason why I'm going to go through this because I want us to really understand what emotion is, right? When we understand what conscious means, right? Something that we are aware of, we intend to do, it's something that we know, and this is what we're doing, right? When one is unconscious, they're unaware of their surroundings and what's happening. So emotion is connected with our direct intent to do something. And it says here, specific, right? Usually it's toward a specific thing, an object, you know what I'm saying? Anger and fear, right? Anger and fear, and let's say, what else? Give me another one. Anxiety. Love, exactly. So, but we understand the terms of love in the world versus the terms of love with the Most High. Yeah? So, but yes, that's still an emotion, right? Now, is this something that men should operate with?
No.
Is this something that men should operate with? Well, exactly. And you want to know why? Check it out. We read this in, is it Reuben? In the Pseudeographa, when the spirits, men are mingled with X amount of spirits. Good and bad. Right? So what it is for us is that we're supposed to have our emotions tamed. Whereas women having an uncontrollable reaction to emotion. Do you understand? So as men, we're supposed to be like, no, I can control my emotion. But what's happening is we're kind of blurring the lines to where control and uncontrol is. Okay? We're blurring the lines. And we can see this typically when we operate amongst one another when offense comes, or when we operate with our spouses or whatever the case may be. You get upset and it's like you go off the handle, right? That's me now, let's just say, operating in an uncontrollable emotional state. So the Bible is actually showing us that we're supposed to have our emotions in check all the time. And when there's no balance, because listen, if we didn't have a balance with that, then it would be set on one end or the other end. It wouldn't be balanced. So it'd be maybe more on the wrong side than on the right side. Okay? So we're going to learn now to balance it. Okay? Yep. All right. Let's get Matthew. And we got to look at this too from a societal aspect as well. All right? Let's get Matthew 24:2.
Yep. Yep. Everyone there? The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 2. And Yeshua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Mm-hmm. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately.
So when Christ said this to them, we have the understanding of what the scripture is. But what I want to look at is when Christ said this to the disciples and amongst everybody, right? It triggered an emotional response in those disciples. And now the disciples are like, hey, let me come and speak to you on a private. I'm scared. I'm unsure. What do you mean? What do you mean everything's going to be torn down? What do you mean that is going to be your sign of coming? Am I going to be around for that? Right? Read.
Came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
So, in a sense, let's just put it like this. When Christ said what he said, it should have ended there. It should have ended there, but it invoked an emotional reaction within them. Okay, well, let's break this down for us. Because, hey, I'm unsure of what I'm supposed to be doing or what's going to happen. Right? Read.
Verse 4, and Yeshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, mm-hmm. for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, mm-hmm. and shall deceive many.
Now look at this, right? People are going to churches to find themselves in a sense, or to find a purpose, right? This is on a whole. People are going to these churches to find a purpose. But what are the churches doing right now? The churches are like, hey, come on in, we'll get you COVID tested. We'll operate with the government. We'll do the contact tracing. We'll do this. And all in the name of Christ. Do you see Christ taking a COVID test? Would you think Christ would be like, yeah, man, go submit yourselves onto a COVID test? No. Right? So this is showing now what? The deception that will come in under his name. This is what we're witnessing now. Because we understand that we are in the end times. But a matter of fact, he's going to let us know this is just the beginning. We're just here now, and with the knowledge to be like, well, imagine we were in church and we didn't have this truth. What would be happening? We'd be lining up for them COVID test. Because our pastor's saying this is what we need to do. We go to him for everything. When we're emotionally unhinged, we go to the pastor. We say, hey, pastor, give me some counseling. So he's the one we're looking to. Right? Let's keep reading.
Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
And then right now, as we see it, they're baiting a racial war. Right? We see the images. First, it was the Asians over in China beating the Africans. Okay, that was way back. And then now, let's pump out the American injustice with the police against blacks. Let's bait that. Let's put it out there. Everything, whether good or bad, whether the man was in the wrong or not, let's pump it. So now every action against a brother is a criminal action, even if the brother was a criminal, right? Everybody's in an emotional state and will react to this. Like the elders was saying, people are enraged based on seeing it. Like, no, we're not taking that no more. Right? Read.
Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation.
We hear that India and China are arguing amongst themselves. Right? We already done know America's pretty much cut off themselves with everybody. Right? I'm hearing, first you hear a little, Trump was dissing Trudeau behind his back at a meeting. They put it out there, just like, they're putting it out there, these things. All rumors. Okay, well, we got beef with the States. Well, let's keep our borders closed. And then you have the people now on the internet or whatever the case may be saying, the States is irresponsible. Their COVID rates are going up. Keep the borders closed. Right? And all of this is the construct of the system. This is designed, and they're watching and seeing how much of the people are going to follow and take that bait. Based on emotions. COVID. Okay, race war, political. Let's let them take a section of Seattle. We're right down the street. Seattle's just over there. They occupied an actual city, 6 city blocks with a police precinct. Guns, riot shields, armor, helmets, bullets. They got it all. You think that, hold on, we were talking amongst ourselves as leaders, and we sat there for a minute. How the hell does a city take over a police precinct? With all and we know over there, they're way more militarized than they are here. They got the tanks and all that, right? Snipers, they got everything. How did that happen? This was done on purpose. Let's give them the area with the guns, with the grenades, with the flashbangs. Let's give them all that. Give them some time there, and then we're gonna go to war. We're coming in. Y'all better clear out. You see that? It's all a game. It's all a game. Let's read.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Uh-huh.
And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places.
Read.
And all these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these are just the beginning of this. This is just a taste of what's to come. So all the luxuries that we had, that we think we should have, right? It's going to be taken away. Read.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted.
Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. Now, how does one get to that point? How does one get to that point to look at his neighbor and say, you know what, I'm going to deliver you to the police? First, you got to do what? Incite fear. Right? They started this way back with 9/11 and even Ebola. We could go way back. Right? They're like every Arab at this point, when 9/11 went down, people were like, yeah, well, these are the terrorists. And you know what? Let's make them take off their shoes when they're coming in the airports. Let's strip them down. You got to take your belts off, and you know what I mean? You got to go through the machine and spin around. And people were just like, yeah, well, we need to protect ourselves because these guys are blowing up planes. Fear. You know, let's set up a hotline to call if we see our neighbor doing any suspicious activity. He didn't cut his lawn last week. He's Muslim. And then they switched the narrative. They turned that around now. So first they got the people in that fear state. And then they switched the narrative to say, okay, well, blacks are the carriers of the COVID. They're the ones dying of it. They're the ones who are dealing with it. So then now the Chinese are showing images or putting out images of them fighting blacks and trying to kill blacks and harming the blacks. And then it's switching around now to over here. Right? Down in Toronto, they're hanging nooses on construction sites.
Wow.
They're doing it. There's a serious thing going on that people need to understand. It's a bait, it's a race war that they're trying to incite.
Yeah.
Huge. In the States too. You search it up, you'll see it.
Down home too.
Over in Scotia.
Nova Scotia, yeah.
It's happening. Right? So now what? And an emotion had to come in against your brother and your sister. Because you weren't operating like that before. You'll notice false flag, reaction. Okay, let's put in something. Let's put it, and we think, okay, well, it's temporary. And when the war's over, we'll go back to normal, but you forget. And you just operate as if, yeah, well, this is the norm. It's gonna happen with the masks. It's gonna happen with social distancing and all that. Right? These are the beginning of sorrows, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. Read.
And shall kill you.
And shall kill you.
And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
So imagine now, check this out. I want you guys to check this out. Imagine you try to go and do a street preach in, I think they call it Chaz or Chop or something like that. The autonomous zone, the 6 city blocks that they got in Seattle. You know who's running that whole thing right now? We think it's Black Lives Matters, right? It's not. It's anarchists. When you watch the videos, you'll see them walking around. Trust me, go and watch. You'll see them in the back with the horns, the black hat with the horns coming out, walking amongst the people while they're there playing basketball. Brothers are there playing ball, and as if nothing's going on. Homosexuals are running the movement and speaking on behalf of the people. They're playing ball, and they got a bunch of anarchists walking around, devil worshipers, walking around the city as if it's all good. Right? They had to trigger everybody and bait them with an emotional state for them to even to say, you know what? At one point, I would never do that. I would never do that. But then now it's like, I don't care. I'm within my city. This is my city now. This is my luxury. I got this. You see that? And now now their morals are out the window. Same thing we read, right? Go on.
Verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another.
You have to be in an emotional state for that. Go on.
Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise.
Go on.
And shall deceive many.
Yeah, go on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
So that love now, you see, when we read this now, we have understanding. What is that love? Our morals, our laws. It'll switch from what it was before to chaos and anarchy, to Satan. We'll no longer have them laws, right? Let's go back, chapter 10, and start at verse 28. There's a way to make this video. Enter full screen. No? Is that what I want? All right, go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
Now, when we read this, right, this is for those who have their emotions in check. The brothers, let's use them as an example. They had their emotions in check. The mother raised them right. So they had their emotions in check and were willing to die, not to break their law, not to compromise. They didn't care about the luxuries. They didn't fear what what's his name there? What's his name? Antiochus.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't fear him. Go on, read.
Verse 29. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father?
Go on.
But the very hairs of your head are all numbered.
Now, check this out. This is deep. This is deep. Because what's being said here is what? The Father chose you. He woke you up. He gave you the wisdom. He loves you so much, he could number the hairs that you have on your head. He knows from the beginning till now, he knew how much numbers of hairs were on your head. Were the ones plucked out? You came and say, how much hair I got? You just brushed your hair and the hairs is dropping out. Well, you got X amount. Because I've been watching you. Read.
Verse 31. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are more value than many sparrows.
You see that? So don't be afraid of them, because you are more value to me than you think. I got you. You know what I mean? In all of this, I got you. Just keep that balance. Read.
Verse 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men.
Confess who?
Confess me before men.
This is that balance now. Read.
Him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven.
So you got to balance it out. It can't be all about me, me, me. You understand? And then when it comes in turn now, well, you're not gonna go for me before the Father? No, I don't know you. Get away from me, you worker of iniquity. I don't know you. You were operating through you. You weren't operating through me. That's that balance, right? Go on.
Verse 33. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father.
And how do you get into this? Again, they got to trigger you with that emotion to now where your moral compass is turned off and you're just doing what you want to do. No longer is it Christ. No longer. Read.
My Father which is in heaven.
Go on.
Verse 34. Think not that I have come to send peace on earth.
Don't even relate me to that Christ that they got in the churches with the flowers in his hair and the bow. Don't relate me to him. Don't think I come to bring peace. One.
On earth I came not to send peace, but a sword.
But a sword. What does a sword do? It cuts, it divides, right? Just like when Moses came down from the mount, there had to be a divide from who was committing sin from who wasn't. I come to bring the sword. So I'm going to sift who is going to follow me and who's going to do right by me from who will operate on their own, through their emotion, through their lust. Read.
For I have not come to set a man, Aslakia, for I have come to set a man at variance against his father.
I come to set variance, right? A man against his father, Terah and Abraham. Read. Hold on. You wanted to ask something?
Yeah, because, like, for instance, we'll take this scripture and we'll try to tell our parents, like, yo, this is what you're doing wrong based on the word.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like they'll try to come back with the, well, honor thy father and thy mother.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not disrespecting you.
Exactly.
That's what the word says.
Exactly. But then you know that you're dealing with Christ. Right there, when you see that, when you get that response, you know you're doing the right thing.
That's the variance.
That's the variance. You see it? Because if there was no pushback and they were like, okay, let's do it, I'll follow. then that's a good thing. It worked. The Most High woke you up. Let's do this. But then when they try to come back and use the law, that's that Christ that came to deceive many. Oh, son, you're supposed to honor me. We're supposed to do Christmas. I got the pig, I got the apple in his mouth, I got the honey on him and he's glistening. Eat. Right? That's what that is. Read.
And the daughter against her mother.
And the daughter against her mother. So it's, this is not just all men. This is men and women. Everybody's got their role in this whole thing. Every one of us. Read.
And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
And a man's foe shall be them in that household. I could tell you countless stories of hearing brothers. I'm in my house, they're upstairs doing their thing, but I'm just here studying the Most High, and I got the word going. I'm in the corner of my house doing my thing. That's an oppression. Imagine you can't come out and be amongst your family. You see what I'm saying? Be amongst the ones that are supposed to be your loved ones. But because what? They want to honor their own customs, their own traditions. The emotion runs deep if it's not in check. Because, I see my neighbor doing this. I got to do this. I don't want to be the outcast. It runs deep, It's not just like, and this is why I said, let's look at it on a societal level, not just within the body. Because it affects everything on a whole. Right? Let's get the commentary. It says, Christ gave us key signs and insight to how troubling and uncertain the times would be during the end of the world. It's only natural that troubling and uncertain times would lead to highly emotional times with feelings such as sorrow, fear, hate, envy, jealousy, anxiety, depression, etc. Manifesting in people as an end result. You know what? When you see that, right? It does make sense, doesn't it? Imagine every movie we watch, it's the same thing. Okay, they hear of the end of the world. What happens? We don't want to tell the people because they're going to riot. It's a natural reaction. But imagine now you have a world full of those that call in the name of Ahaya and hear that the end of the world's coming. What are you going to see? Peace. So that's why this world's been totally converted. That's just on the movie level. And look at it. We're calm as cookies in this whole thing. We're calm as cookies. This thing's going down. People are like, I don't know what's going on. And mans are killing themselves because they ain't got work no more. But we're calm as cookies. Because we have understanding. You understand how this works? We're building that balance to know that, okay, well, I don't need to get, emotionally unhinged in this scenario. Well, I've been prepping for this. This is the time for me to exact my preparation. Let's put this to work. Right? Mm-hmm. With the fact that we are living in the day of the Great Awakening, the truth also has potential to cause a high level of emotional instability in people who don't want to hear the truth, but rather live in sin. Christ warned that the truth would lead to many offenses and in turn lead to great betrayal and love lost, even between kindred and friends. What are the underlying factors at work that lead a person to such an emotional instability? And now we're going to see what they're using, the actual origin of what they're using to incite this, emotional unhinged person. What are they doing? Is it just the TV? Is it just the internet? Is it just the images that we're seeing? We have understanding. One must be opened up Because right now we're a contained vessel. We're a vessel that is within a contained environment, right? But in order for us to get something within us, we have to do what? Open up ourselves. Like when we want to eat, we're not gonna, right? We're gonna open our mouths and put the food in, right? So they have this understanding that, yeah, we need to open them up in order to feed them that fear, feed them that unemotional state, so that they get off going crazy, so they lose off of what they're doing. Let's get it, right? Let's go to Enoch. Enoch 15. You want it? Here? Come and get it. Exactly. So Enoch 15 is, let's get the page number, but it's XV in the Roman numerals, right? XV in the Roman numerals. And we're going to read verse 8 through 11. Actually, let me see. Where's, yeah, let's read 1 through 4 first.
Okay.
Yeah.
The book of Enoch, chapter 15, starting at verse 1. And he answered and said to me, I heard his voice. Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of the righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go and say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them? You should intercede for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men?
Now check this out. Enoch is correcting the angels. It was supposed to be the other way around. Right? But Enoch has been given authority to correct those angels. To come in and say, hey, what you're doing, you know was wrong. The Most High never made you for sin. Read.
And taken to yourself wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons.
You were never supposed to produce offspring. You were supposed to be, that's it. Like, I create you, that's who you are. You're not changing, you're not doing nothing. But you went and defiled yourselves with the children of men. They're women, all right? You went and defiled yourselves with them. Go on.
And though you were holy, spiritual.
See, so originally you were made to be holy and spiritual. Go on.
Live in the eternal life.
And live within this eternal life. I had something set up for you. You had the ability to come before me and partake in the parties and the festivals, to come before me and praise and worship alongside your brethren. I had this for you. You would be in the city of gold. Right? Go on.
You have defiled yourselves with the blood of women.
You have defiled yourselves. We have understanding what happens, what happened to those said angels. Everything that we just talked about, boom, straight to hell. Okay, we're gonna bind you based on your actions. You don't want to go through all of the things I just said you could have? Okay, well, fine. Jump down to verse 8 for me.
Verse 8. And now the giants who were produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth.
Right, so the action was evil, so therefore their fruit was evil. Judge them by their fruit. You see that? Go on.
And on the earth shall be their dwelling.
And on the earth shall be their dwelling. No longer will you have access to the kingdom. Right? The earth is obviously inferior to the kingdom, to where I reside. Now, I'm relegating you down there. Since you want to go in amongst them and do that, okay, I'll bind you down there. Read.
Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they were born from men and from the holy watchers, is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called.
Nothing else. These spirits can't be anything else but evil. Don't believe the movies, right? That, oh, this evil spirit, you know, was doing evil before, is now come to save mankind. Right? That's what they put in these movies. You know, the kid is talking with the evil spirit, and it's like the kid is, you know, being guided by this spirit. You makes an emotional connection with the spirit. You know, parents burst in the door. Johnny, who are you talking to? Nobody. You know, there's a little teddy bear there. It's Stevie. It's Chucky. You know, it's Chucky. It's Chucky, my doll, my Chucky. Evil spirit. Okay, well, you and Chucky, you know, don't stay up too late. Close the door. Evil spirits. Right? Go on.
As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling.
Right.
And the spirits of the giants afflict.
Now, hold up. They afflict. We were reading about earlier what the beginning of sorrows will be. Affliction. So there's going to be a high level of first opening up the people and letting them getting them ready to be reprogrammed with these evil spirits. Because if we read in Jubilees, right, after Noah prayed to the Most High, he said, man, please, man, this is too much. This is too much. This too much of them out here. You know, please take them away. Get them rid of it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to leave 10% behind. Because y'all is acting wicked anyways. I'm going to leave 10% behind so I can now try you. I'll make sure they don't go above their means. I'll make sure you have a way, you have a choice. You can say, yes, I'm going to do this, or no. They can't force you to do nothing. But I'm leaving 10% to try you. Because the whole lot of you should have been dead. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to let you repopulate, but you're repopulating with the 10% that I leave behind. We're only, this is, back then they were dealing with 100% all of them. We're only dealing with 10. And we see what the world is dealing with now, based on that. It's still only a 10. You're reading the Jubilees, right? They ain't going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. The earth shall be their dwelling. Read.
Oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth and cause trouble.
That's the only thing they can do. Read.
They take no food, but nevertheless hunger.
They take no food, but nevertheless hunger. I mean, I can sit here on this all day. The different examples of what can go into with this, right? They take no food, but they hunger. Hunger for what? How do they feed? Huh? Not, well, the flesh is the vessel, right? But what are they feeding on? What we know, our actions. Our actions, because read what it is. They do what? Read 11.
Verse 11. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth.
So isn't man doing that? Working destructions on the earth, oppressing one another, afflicting one another. This is what they feed on. And we feed them it. We feed them. We keep them satisfied through all of this. And even though we suffer as we're feeding them, we continue. We hide them. We protect them. Go ahead.
So they say to fast, get rid of them, right?
Yes.
So if they're feeding on the emotions, right? So fasting.
Check this out. When we fast, what are we supposed to do? Huh? Well, no. When we fast, what are we doing? What else? Are we doing things that we love to do? Well, I love to watch, soccer. I love to do this. We're starving them because we're no longer partaking in the world. We set ourselves apart from it. When we fast, we're to take ourselves out of this whole element. We're not calling up people and getting into offenses and arguing. We're not sinning while we're fasting. Do you see that? So this whole thing is what? To stop the feeding for them. And they're like, oh, you're not going to feed me? I'm leaving. Yeah.
On the same token, it does talk about the eating part.
It does. They do.
Not necessarily a literal
No,
thing.
it's everything, because this is why the Most High encompassed that. That's why he said, you know what? Do not your pleasures. Call my fast a delight. It's supposed to be what? Chill time, happy time. Okay, well, you got peace and solitude, but you're going to go and continue in your sin. I'm not accepting your fast. What are you fasting for? You're still feeding that spirit. you're still protecting it. So this is why all of this was encompassed. Right? So go on, keep reading. There's a little bit more there.
But nevertheless hunger and thirst and cause offenses.
Go on.
And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them.
Right. So now, check this out. Because they know us. Angels know who we are. They were sent here to minister unto us. They have the understanding what? That women have a harder time controlling their emotions than men. Okay? So this is the first part. They have that understanding. So why not? And we have understanding that these angels, these same angels are the ones that are in the high places right now. So why not turn the men into women? You see that? Why not get them operating on a womanly level and have them out of an emotional control with their states? Have them in that. Then it's easy to take them down. You see that?
Yeah.
It's deep. Yo, this is deep. No, this is deep, because you have to understand, right? Just like, it's not like, okay, we got to look at this. This is war, right? So, and they literally have what? War rooms within the government. These are brothers and sisters that sit in a room and think about how to kill the enemy. Whether it be through assassination, through, let's bomb them, let's poison them, you know, let's think. What is the best way to kill them? They have a room set up. This is the same thing with these angels, these spirits. They sit down, they have a think tank. How are we going to take them out? This has been planned like years upon thousands of years ago. So this plan has been being perfected and improved upon as we've been developing. You see that? And unless you have this truth, there's no way you'll win.
No way.
So make the men feminine, and then you really have a bag of women and women,
That's it.
and no men to protect the women and the children.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what
That's the war strategy.
that is, because even biblically, when they were at war, they would go in, kill the men,
And then take the women
children.
as spoil. You see that? So what? Let's even use this one as the best example. What did they do to Shechem? When they were messing with what's his name's sister there? Dinah. What did he do? They're like, yo, we'll wait till all the men are circumcised, then we're gonna go take them out.
Yeah.
What man could get up and fight when he just got circumcised? He's wounded. And they just went in and slew the whole town. So this is the same thing. We're seeing the same. This is just a strategy, right?
Yep.
Let's get Revelations 18.
Fallen angels seem buddy with that movie Noah.
Yeah, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna help you protect. And then when they're protecting, when they died, what did they do? They shot up back to heaven. But hold up. The Most High said, the earth shall be your dwelling. Where are you shooting up to? You should be shooting down. Right?
I don't know
Backwards.
if anything about that movie was biblically correct, man.
Nah.
That whole thing was
It was a hot mess. Noah. Noah, yeah.
With the rock,
We got the rocks,
creatures.
they're angels. Didn't know they're angels at first. There's a bunch of big rock giants protecting the ark for Noah. As if that we read that. Did we read that? Wasn't the animals?
Russell Crowe, yeah.
The animals came out and was doing
Yeah.
its work. Where do you read that?
Yeah.
It makes it seem like the fallen angels were victims.
They were victim to men, and then now
Yeah.
now redeem, and they're going back to heaven. But hold on, the Bible said, "Now the earth
Yeah.
shall be your dwelling."
Yeah.
That movie has a God that deals with change.
Mm.
We deal with the God that changes not.
Mm. Right.
Okay. All right. Let's get let's read Revelations 18, 1 through 2.
Come on. The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hateful bird.
What more needs to be said? There's actually an angel yelling out right now saying, Babylon the Great is falling. It's falling. And now it's become the habitation of devils, right? Sodomites, effeminate men, lawlessness, right? No morals, none whatsoever. Pedophiles. They're the ones that they set up over the people as their judges. Look at the earth. Right? And it's now what? The cage of every unclean and hateful spirit. Because what? They're not dealing with the law no more. Right?
We're actually living this time right now.
We're living in it. But these are just the beginning of sorrow. So what more are we going to see? It's going to be a lot. Yo, anyways. This is not sorrow. We're dealing with luxury. Yo, listen, we're dealing with a luxury right now. We're sitting down, we're doing class, we're streaming, we've got brothers in BC listening. This is luxury. This is luxury. Even amidst in COVID, it's luxury. Yeah, well, I mean, but yeah, for now, it's gonna get to that point. You know what I'm saying? You may just walk down the street, you don't even know, get knocked out, black van rolls up, you wake up in the hospital, intubated.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. These are just the beginning. This is our luxury. All right. So the book of Enoch lets us know that the fallen angels impregnated women who then gave birth to giants. And after these giants died, the spirits that would remain from them would be called evil spirits or demons. It's these demons that influence mankind to destroy one another, cause offense, and through our sins have a doorway in to bring forth. You see that doorway? You see that doorway? Again, it's like, oh wait, we got to open a doorway, something that you can open or close. And once they got us open, they're coming in. Don't think they ain't coming in. The vampire ain't coming in your house unless you invite him in. Isn't that what they do in the movies?
Mm-hmm.
They show you all of this. You need to be opened up in order for me to take over. Right? So through our sins, they have a doorway in to bring forth oppressive emotions. In other words, if we become overrun with emotions and we don't identify that we're in this state of mind and the sins that we're dealing with, then the demons can come in, manipulate and take advantage, causing us to make very poor and unwise decisions, being that we are being led by our flesh and not the Holy Spirit. John, the Revelator, told us that the end of Babylon, which we know to be America, would become the habitation of foul spirits and a place where every demon would be bound like a bird in its cage. And with this being understood, how susceptible would this society be when it comes to emotional instability and distress? And why is it that it seems that blacks and minorities and in the Americas have it the worst when it comes to this condition? And that's something that we don't even look at on the whole. Did you know that the mental health, or so-called what they label as mental health, is really like rampant within the communities of the children of Israel? Like seriously, if you were to examine the statistics, you'd be like, what the hell? I didn't know that. You wouldn't think. You're like, oh, brothers they don't really deal with that. They do.
They do.
They do. And when I look back at my childhood, I'm like, yeah, there was a brother one time. You know, he'd always be staring up at in the sky and talking to himself, and I'd be like, man, somebody must have gave him something.
Yeah.
It's a mental condition, though. It was a spirit. He was dealing with a demon. I had no clue. I'm sitting there beside him. You know, sometimes I make a little joke in the car or whatever. But now that I look back at it, I wish I could go back and help the brother. You understand? He's oppressed. He's in that. He's not even functioning. It's not him no more. It's a spirit. It wasn't even him. He's probably crying out for help, and nobody could even recognize that the brother needs help. In that sunken place, trapped, right? It's deep. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:15.
Everyone there get a con? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Same thing we read in Joshua. Go on.
That all these curses shall...
Yeah, in Joshua, sorry, go on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be by thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be thy fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep.
Now, and this is deep, Let me show you something, right? Just that one line right there, cursed shall thou be in thy basket, right? Look how Christ came, right, with the fish, right? They were ever pulling out fish out of the basket. But we be putting things in the basket, and it's always empty. That's how you know it's a curse. Same thing with the wine.
Yeah.
Bring out the water. I'll turn it to wine, and the finest wine was just coming, consistently coming. It was on tap. It was flowing. That's how you know he's showing us. Yo, listen, I'm not operating with the curse. So look to me to be your guide, not these Pharisees. It's the blind leading the blind right now. Look at me. Do what I do. You'll be fine. All right? Read.
Verse 19. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out.
Go on.
The Most High shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou be perished quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Most High shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. The Most High shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Jump down to 30.
Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with
So
her.
you'll take a wife, but another man will lie with her. This is rampant within the communities. This is the norm right now. You take a wife, but another man will lie with her. And this works both ways. Read.
Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell
If
therein.
you try and build a house, I guarantee you, right, that you won't be in that house at the end of time of my coming. Somebody else will be dwelling there. Build it with your hands. Go ahead. Build it from the ground up. I guarantee you won't own that. Somebody will come and take it. It's a curse on you. Go on.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Uh-huh.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof.
Jump down to 32.
32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people,
Mhm.
and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Jump down to 41.
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Now, okay. I mean, this we have understanding, right? Transatlantic slave trade and everything, right? But even up to this time, this is still happening. This is still happening, right? We'll have children. We will have children, but we won't enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. The captivity of what? This world. You'll put them through first, as before they're coming out as a baby, the vaccinations. You'll open them up right off the jump for spirits to come in. Autism, whatever it is, sickness, disease, whatever. Then you're going to have them dealing with false gods. They'll be captive to those gods and society. They got the schools now training them to be homosexuals too. They're captive. Colleges. Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it? Feminist movement. I don't need no man. I don't need no help. Right? Straight against the Most High's creation. These schools are like what? Harry Potter schools, the whole of them. University, all the colleges is straight indoctrination to be wicked, to be a part of society and help build this kingdom in its wickedness. That's all it is. Jump down to verse 46.
46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Man, and if this ain't happening right now, I'm out there driving around, right? Black Lives Matter, everywhere you see it, everywhere. It'll be a sign. When we go out there, we're a sign. Look at it, poor him. Poor him. Right? No, it's poor you. You know what's coming to you? I'll take whatever it is you got to deal with. But you know what's coming to you for doing that? 46, read it again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Read.
Because thou servest not the Most High thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Right. And this is key, man. For us to build up anything here, right? It can't be for us. It's got to be for the kingdom. It's got to be for the nation. It's got to be for the people. You're not supposed to be building up yourself. You're dividing yourself from what the Most High is going to bring. How long will you continue to lay foundation for this kingdom and build up high walls so that when it's time to go against it, we can't? We get afraid. Every day we added a brick against what we're going to fight. Right? Jump down to 59.
Verse 59. Then the Most High will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and a long continuance, Lakia, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, very sickness, and every sickness,
Yes.
and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Most High bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Jump down to 64.
Verse 64. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So Islam and Christianity, the cross. Read.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Most High shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
That's being now what? In a uncontrollable emotional state.
Yep.
You see the correlation now. This is all part of this curse,
Yep.
right? Jump over, back up to 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things.
In a want of what?
All things.
All things. Even water. Even clean air. Everything you have to go to your enemy for. Those that have you in captive. What?
What's that verse before 48?
47? Jump up for it.
60, 46.
Oh, 60. Oh, sorry, Slakia. 64 down the. Actually, we read to 65. Finish up that verse for me. 48.
He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Right. Let's jump over to Romans 11 and 11, down to 11 and 12. 11 and 11, verse 11, down to verse 12. This is interesting right here.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid.
So have they stumbled or came off of what they should have been doing so that they can be in this state? Was this something that was destined for them to be? Is Israel a home-born slave? Read.
God forbid.
God forbid. Read.
But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
Read.
For to provoke them to jealousy.
Now check that out. Through this now, right? Yo, everything that you see here would have been run by us, but even better. There wouldn't be no murders and rapes and pedophiles and lawlessness, right? It wouldn't be none of that. We'd have everything here in that same piece. But we always like, oh, why, why are we down here and they're always up there no matter how hard I try? That's that jealousy. Right? For to provoke them to jealousy, read.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
How much now more the fullness, especially when they come back to me. Even through being provoked, when they come back.
That mean that you would ask to succeed at anything we do now?
We can if we're under the curse. Are you going to be running a water company? Are you going to be giving power to Edmonton? Are they going to put you over to oil companies? Hells no. You see that? So now we look, we're like, oh, look, they got this and they got that. Yeah, we should have that. What makes them different than me? I work twice as hard than they do. All they do is sit there in the office and tell people what to do. I'm out here digging the holes. Provoke them to jealousy. And when they actually now come out of that state where it's all hate and understand, well, this was done to me because I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Now what? The change comes. Now the fullness will come in. I will change and operate as I should. Go on.
So say you got the understanding now. You're following what you're supposed to follow. It's still not really a return yet because
No.
he has to fall.
No.
But can you still succeed?
Yes, we can still succeed. But here's the thing now. This could be to our demise or not. Are we going to succeed to build up barns? Like the brother did when the Most High gave them. You want to get that one for me? You know that one?
Yep.
Get that one for me. So are we going to succeed, right, to build up storehouses and barns for ourselves? Or are we going to succeed to build and make everybody else succeed with us? So it's going to be to our demise or our downfall. You got that one? No, it's in hold on. One moment.
In John?
No. I just read this.
Luke?
Nope, no, it's in the Old Testament. Oh, it is, isn't it?
Matthew?
No, it is Luke. It's Luke 12.
Luke?
Right. Yeah. Is it?
I know what I'm talking about.
One moment.
The one where he's, and the Most High asked him for a soul
Yeah.
that night. Got it. It is Luke 12.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 12.
Actually, read. Start from. Start from 16.
16.
Yeah.
The book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying,
Now, check this out. Christ is not just making these stories up, you know. You have to remember, you know, just like when we watch movies, there's a little bit of truth to it. Christ ain't making this up. We just read this. The land was good and plenteous, right? The Most High blessed him with that, didn't they? Didn't he? So what did Benjamin do? They're like, yeah, man, we got the land. We'll cultivate the land. We no longer need the law, right? Read, go on.
and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years.
I succeeded. The Most High blessed me. I'm good. I'm pulling down barns. I'm building bigger ones. I'm going to say to myself, I'm good. You know what? It's all about Long Island iced tea now. Right? I'm good. Read.
Take thy ease, eat, drink, and be merry.
See, he's going to take that ease. I'm flying on Hawaii. I got the pina coladas. I'm chilling. Right? I got all the goods I need. I succeeded. Go on.
But the Most High said to him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall these things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich towards the Most High.
So how would one have gotten rich in that scenario towards the Most High? When that land was being cultivated, do what? Feed the people. Feed the people. Bring it back to build up the nation. Give them a chance now. Get them get on their feet. That's why the Most High gave it to you. It wasn't for you to go and fly over to Hawaii and drink pina coladas. You still had to work. You see it? So we don't succeed now just for us to be, okay, I'm successful. I can go and, I can buy a Porsche or a Porsche Jeep or a Mercedes. I'm good. No, put that back to the work. That's what the Most High is looking and examining each and every one of us. What do we do with the things we go through? What do we do with what he's given us? Whether affliction or whether blessing. What are we doing with it? You see? That answer your question? All right. Let's jump over to, let me get this commentary actually. Hold up. Yeah. So, knowing that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the children of Israel, and that our foreparents broke the covenant which was given to them by the Most High, we fell into a cursed condition. We read about in Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. With every curse under the sun, it would seem to be put on us because of disobedience. It would lead to an emotional states of such as vexation, madness, astonishing of heart, failing of eyes, sorrow of mind, and jealousy instead of good emotion. You see now? You see, remember we were talking about it earlier. We're still supposed to be in an emotional state, but it's supposed to be balanced, right? So instead of us choosing the right side, we were like, yo, we're angry, we're jealous, I'm depressed, right? Why can't I be like them? Why can't I have what you have?
So that feeling of jealousy, we're supposed to recognize that the Most High did that so we can turn back to him.
That's it. Right? So he turned us into jealousy instead of a good emotional states like joyfulness and gladness of heart. I'm so happy I woke up this morning. I'm so happy I got another chance to fix what I broke. Right? But we can easily conclude that that these cursed people would suffer from a severe case of emotional insecurity and instability, seeing how that other nations can seem to get away with murder and still have business, homes, cars, and great success, and rule over us, what level of jealousy and anger and hate would that leave us in towards them and towards each other as we fight amongst ourselves over the scraps? And that's what we do.
So true.
So they got everything. We're looking at them. They got everything. But yet, you know, we got the hood and we got poverty. But we're gonna fight amongst us for the hood. I'm gonna roll this. I'm gonna control this block. Right? I'm controlling this block.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, crabs in a barrel. I'm controlling this side. This is my turf. It's the hood. Right? You're fighting over the hood
That you don't own.
that you don't even own. And you can never own it. That's the joke. They're the ones providing you that, right? I don't know about over here, right? But anytime you drove around in Toronto and you started seeing them certain colors, you knew it was the hood. And they have it uniformed. They have it uniformed. It's like, okay, well, I see that brown. I start seeing that brown. I know it's the hood. We're coming in the hood. Well, should I be in this turf today? Because brothers over there might not like I'm coming from my hood to go to their hood. We're going to fight. What is that? What are you fighting for? Right? Unemotionally hinged. Right? So, it was through this jealousy and envy towards the Gentiles because of the gods they served that led us into the condition we are in today. With these things considered, how do we have balance through Christ and not allow our emotions to take control and overrun us in these end times, right? So let's get the word balance. Let's get the word balance here. Read that for me, Op.
Yep. The word balance and even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. Keep or put something in a steady position so that it does not fail.
Exactly. So
Does not fall.
does not fall. So just like I was saying, if you're not balanced with Christ in this, right, you're going to lean one way or the other. And majority of the people are taking the other because they're in that cursed state still. But we now, having recognized what the cursed state is, we're moving back over into a balanced position. We're moving back there. But guess what? Every time we sin, it starts to go back over to that side. Every time we sin, every time there's an offense and we don't recognize it's a spirit and we deal with it, it's over here. Because what? Your emotions now become the forefront. Well, I'm upset with you. I'm mad and I'm angry. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to deal with you. We're over here now. So something were to come in my emotional state, I'm not going to make the right decision. What do I do? What do I do? Don't even know that you've been prepped, had your passport ready, don't know what to do for that moment when to come, because you just uncontrollable at this moment. Right? And look, the Most High has even put it towards us as it's supposed to be law that we're supposed to operate balanced. It's a law. He did it from the beginning. He did it from the beginning. He said, yo, you know what? The way you guys are supposed to deal with one another is supposed to be balanced. right? He's like, yo, don't put no usury on that. You loan somebody, we let him pay you back what you took. Don't put no usury on it. You see, it's supposed to be balanced. Let's read it. Leviticus 19 and 36.
Con? The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 36. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have.
Shall you have. So just balances. Remember, we dealt with commerce by weighing what things, the weight. So the shekels, we'd weigh it. Just like today, you watching the movies when it gets to the point where the drug lords have so much money, they got to start weighing it. They ain't counting no more. They're just gonna weight.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just gonna wait. Oh, I know that's 1.2 million,
Yeah.
right? I'm just gonna wait. So same scenario. We were operating that same way. Everything that we had was going through a scale. And this would determine how much commerce or how much money I should have, right? Read.
I am the Most High, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt.
Exactly. So everything was supposed to be just and balanced. And we could look at this on a carnal level and say, well, oh, he's just talking about the scale. We're good. No, he's look at it from the spiritual side. You're supposed to be balanced within yourself, right? When a man is double-minded, what is he? He's unstable as the sea. You see it? So he's supposed to be stable, balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 40 and 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 12. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance.
Now check this out. Everything that we see here on this earth, right? During creation is balance, isn't it?
Yep.
Is in balance, is in total order. Right down to the amount of dirt within a certain area or the height of a mountain. It all works with one another. Believe it or not, think about this. If those mountains weren't separating us from British Columbia, wouldn't we have the same kind of chaotic weather over here?
Mm-hmm.
It just constantly come over, but those mountains kind of create in a sense, a shield.
Mm.
And then when we're over here on this side now, they're sheltered from the cold that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in balance. Even the sea's in balance. When fresh water meets salt water, balance. It's like you could see it. It's not like, okay, I'm going to mix. No, line. There's a line in the ocean that you can see. Fresh water, salt water. Balanced. That's how the Most High deals. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's get another one. Let's get Proverbs 11 and 1. Let me read this commentary. It says, to show how important having balance and order is, the Most High gave us laws in regards to do this, so that we remain equitable in our dealings. So what does it mean to have equity? What does it mean to have equity? Right? Like, okay, let me show you. I'll show you on the carnal level. When you buy a house, you pay into the house X amount of money, right? Some of it goes to interest. Well, majority of it does. Mm-hmm. Goes to interest, and some of it goes back towards the principal. Mm. Now, over time, you build up equity within that home that you can now use to your benefit if you choose to do so, right? Now check this out. When we operate amongst one another and we operate in truth and in sincerity, we build up equity. within each and every one of us. Well, I know he's going to tell me the truth, so I'm going to go to him. He's not mincing words and he don't care. I've seen him do it. He's built up equity in my eyes. See that? So the Most High put these laws in us so that we could build up equity amongst one another. Right? And when we see one another sin or go off, that equity gets put back into now the interest side to where you gain access to. Now, I'm not sure if I should go to him with that. Maybe I shouldn't lend him because he might not lend it back to me. I seen him do it to another brother. He's got no equity with me. Right? If we're not careful and mindful when faced with emotional distress, we can be influenced by evil spirits to deal unjustly towards one another. You see? So you'll lose that balance. You lose that equity right off the jump. When I'm spirits entering me and I'm stealing or lying, man, you guys ain't gonna trust me. It's just facts. Whether in the world or in the truth, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. Proverbs 11:1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 1. A false balance is an abomination.
So a false weight or balance is an abomination. Look at that, right off the jump. It's an abomination, go on.
To the Most High,
Uh-huh.
but a just weight is a delight.
So what I'm willing to do for my wife, I should be willing to do for Tyrone. If I'm, if he's out there and he's freezing cold and I look at my wife and I look at Tyrone and I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, or another day, I'll give it to my wife. She's cold. But then the next day I'm out with Tyrone. I'm like, you should have brought your jacket. If I'm dealing like that, that's unjust. Do you understand? That's not balanced. It's our immediate, what we'll do, what we'll go to, because that's what we learned, right? Let's get on Proverbs 20 and 23.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Most High, and a false balance is not good.
You see that? It's straight details. These are laws within the Bible that we're how we're supposed to deal with one another. Diverse weights are an abomination. It's on the same level as homosexuality. Dealing with your brother unjustly is on the same level as sodomy. You see that? Give me Micah 6 and 10.
The book of Micah, chapter 6 and verse 10. Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is an abomination?
Exactly. So, are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked? Yeah. And the scant measurable that is abominable. So, just like I was saying, you're dealing with wickedness. It's good. That same wickedness is equal and just with the Most High. Right? As if you're committing murder. Read 11.
Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances?
You see that? So should I count them pure, even though they're doing everything right, but they're not operating amongst their brothers and sisters? They're obeying the laws, right? They're dealing with the feast days. They're fasting, they're praying, they're doing everything they need to do. Not sinning, right? Against their flesh or whatever. But yet dealing treacherously with their friends or amongst those outside. Right? You're doing that. Should I count them pure? Should they be the ones that's coming into my kingdom? Go on, read.
And with the bag of deceitful weights.
Exactly. Now, check this out. All these churches that are out there, right? Operating the way they're operating. They're only doing it because they took the bag. They're only, listen, the elders are saying it today, you know, I'm just thinking about this right now. The churches, right? The mega churches are out there saying, man, we're losing income. People ain't gathering, they're not sending tithes. We're losing our buildings. I can't fuel my jet no more. Let us gather. And they're like, hell's no. Shut up, put on your mask, and don't speak. When they're going to the one they took the bag from, it's like, yo, you listen to me. You stay closed. You see that? That's why Moses said, yo, shall I count them pure? No. Right? Let's get Job 31:6.
The book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 6. Let me be weighed in an even balance, that the Most High may know my integrity.
So it says, and if we deal fraudulently and treacherously with one another out of pure emotion, then we become an abomination to the Most High, because we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. It is this love that keeps us balanced in our emotions so that we remain innocent with one another while proving our integrity with the Most High. Let's get Philippians chapter 2. And we're going to read 5 down to 8. Voila.
The book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Yeshua, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man.
See, now check this out, right? The Most High gave Christ, his son, all authority on the earth. Right? And then now, as I'm thinking about it, remember when Peter cut the guard's ear off? And he says, think not I could call legions of angels. Wouldn't he be doing what? Showing his power, showing his, I'm going to use my power against you, that I've been relegated. Now, he put himself as a servant, as we are to put ourselves as servant. When we go and we minister on the streets, we are servants. When we come within the body, we are servants. When we're amongst one another, each and every one of us are servants. Even Paul was saying, yo, I'm a slave to this. Even the disciples had this understanding. So we're all on the same playing field. Right? So he took no reputation. Go on.
He humbled himself and became obedient unto death.
You see, so he humbled himself. Right? The brothers, the sons, humbled themselves and they didn't fight. They humbled themselves. Right? And was obedient unto death. They were acting like Christ. It's like lambs, right? When they go to slaughter. Lambs, when they go to slaughter, they're screaming and kicking about and fighting. They're not doing that. They don't even utter a word. They just stand there, know what's coming. Right? Let's get Hebrews 12 and 1. Read down to verse 3.
The water. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
Right, and all these witnesses are examples. From Abraham all the way up, even unto Christ. Everybody there. Judas, from good to bad. All of them were an example. Go on.
Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, And let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yeshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High.
So for one to get to this state, right, one has to have their emotions in check. Has to. Has to. Have to. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm sorry? Hey, remember what the Most High said. You know, I'll wink at your ignorance. But now that you know, it's on you. Now that you know, it's on you. We curse ourselves. He didn't curse us.
He said for all men.
Right? Read.
Verse 3, for consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds.
Right. So, because now what? If you get worried in your mind, that's when you'll make those decisions like, oh, hell's no, I'm not going to the cross. Hell's no, I'm not doing this. In the time of tribulation, I'm running. I'm ratting. You caught me. I'll rat. I'll tell you. If you let me go, I'll tell you where they are. Right? I'll tell you where they are. Let's get 1 Peter 2 and 21.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example.
You see that? So check this out. We sin without even suffering. You see that? We sin without even suffering. So this is a choice. This is something that we're doing intentionally. And listen, it's a spirit that you're allowing to do this. Right? It's a spirit. It's by your choice. You could get rid of the spirit. Some of them may be stronger than others. But we read. All spirits can be taken out. Some by prayer, some by both prayer and fasting, some by anointing. He gave us all the tools and how to examine and say, okay, well, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I need to do. Right? Read it again.
Verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Exactly. So now you're called to follow his steps. Right? I mean, he didn't even incline his ears after doing a 40-day fast. 40-day fast. Saint came to him like, yo, turn these stones into bread, bro. Turn these stones. Listen, you ain't afflicted yourself that much. Turn these stones into bread. That's all you got to do. Give him the law. Thou shalt not live by bread alone. Thus saith the Most High. Right? And look at it. He dealt with Satan on this whole level, right? He's experiencing what we experience. He's dealing with all of this, dealing with Satan, and you think the angels could have came in and be like, yo, let me start ministering you? Christ is like, yo, hold your spot. Let me show Satan. Come, Satan, come. Because you read it, he says, yo, after all of that, then the angels came and ministered unto him. We can't even get to that point. We're running into sin before we even, you know what I mean? Oh, it's there. Boom, let's take it. Right? Because they have us unhinged. You know? And we'll justify it. We'll sit there and justify it. Justify the sin and say, yeah, man, I mean, I'll just do it this one time. Or, you know what? I'll pray after.
Yeah. Dead works.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Nah. That's not what the Christ is our ultimate example. Follow his steps. Right?
More rapid now than it was back then?
Yes. Well, they were dealing with, look at it. They were dealing with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And through that, there was no city like it, right? Sodom and Gomorrah is like a city, right? We're dealing with Sodom and Gomorrah on a worldly level now. You see what I'm saying? So sin is way more rampant. There's a lot less men operating through the law and understanding the law now than it was back then. They didn't have the schools teaching the youth. They were teaching their youth. You see what I'm saying?
So in a sense, would we make it a little harder for us
A little.
compared to back then?
Bruh. A little. Yo, listen, right now, we're dealing with the gold tried in the fire. We're dealing with it. It's because what? Satan's been perfecting his game plan this whole time, right? To cut us off. This whole time he's been perfecting it. Okay, well, I used to do this way. Now I got this. Let me give them a little internet. Let me give them, a little, let me give them self-driving cars. Let me give them this. Let me do that. Everything is done through strategy. You understand? Just to get that little bit more edge, right? And now, right, I'm going to set up my angels in space, my archangel system, and I'm going to be watching every one of them. And I'm going to be able to sit back, right? Just like at the end of Neo, that was Satan, by the way. At the end of Neo, when he went in the room and the old man was sitting there with the TVs, looking at everybody, right? That's Satan. This is Satan's trying to set up right now with this whole, let me contact trace everybody. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see what they're doing.
Exactly.
So, okay, am I being effective over here? Let me put in a little effort. Minions. Right? So yeah, we're dealing with it. But we have all the tools to deal with it. You see? And it's our choice to operate with it or not. Right? Let's get John 13 and 15. I'm going to read that down to 17.
Con, you on there? The book of John, chapter 13 and verse 15. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye if you do them.
Exactly. Right? So having this example, again, coming back to it, having this example, that the servant is not greater than the master. Right? Then we're able to be like, well, I can't be jealous because no longer am I looking at you like that. Well, I want to be a disciple. I want to be an apostle. You think the men's were operating like that? No. So if we know these things and operate this way, the happier we're going to be on this earth. No matter how much substance I have or how little substance I have, I'm going to be content. Right? 1 Corinthians 2 and 15.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who has known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ.
So it says here, what better example than Christ himself to look to when it comes to the mind we must have to operate with emotional stability. He laid out the path and we must follow his steps if we are to be successful in remaining balanced with everything we do. Emotions can be like weights that can hold us down and oppress us. Enoch told us that one of the many jobs of the demons is oppression. So, demons look to capitalize on your emotions. We must set these weights aside and put them all on Christ so that we can run this race with patience to finish it. Let's look at some of the situations Christ was faced with, and wisdom he gave us on what we must keep in mind to gain victory in these situations. Let's go to John 8. I'm going to read down to verse 11.
John 8:1 or John
John 8 and
3?
3, yeah, down to verse 11. John chapter 8, verse 3, down to 11.
The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 3. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they say, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yeshua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said to them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote in the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted in their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yeshua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Verse 10.
Go on.
When Yeshua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Has no man commanded thee? Condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yeshua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
So go, and this is to answer your question, Tom. Right? Now that you know, do it no more. This was written in the law. We can read it in Hebrews as well. Right? There remaineth no more forgiveness for sins we do willingly. Right? And in the law, it says here in Numbers 15, it says that, and if any soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering. This is the children of Israel during the Mosaic laws, right? And the priest shall make an atonement for that soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before the Most High, and to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul, now check this out, the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he is born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Most High, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. It's pretty clear. So once you know that you shouldn't be doing something, stop. That's just it. Right? Let's get James chapter 1. I was going to go here too. James chapter 1. That's you see that I wrote at the top? I was gonna,
Yeah.
I was like, no, this lesson is good. James chapter 1, 19 through 20.
Con, the water. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High.
And this is key. This is key because watch. Something happens before you. That initial reaction again is to run out and or to defend yourself or to get upset and be angry, you know? That's your initial response. But if you have patience and you're able to step back from the scenario, then you can say, you know what, this is how I need to deal with this. If I'm being, you know, if I'm saying I'm calling on the Most High's name, I need to be doing what the Most High tells me to do in this scenario. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm going to avoid, you know, destroying my brother or my sister, right? says here, so there was a lynch mob of people led by the Pharisees and scribes who had accusation against a woman for committing adultery and wanted her death. Notice how Christ handled himself in this situation. Because you have to remember, adultery did equal death, didn't it? So he could have been like, yeah, man, stone her. She's adultery, yeah. But then he was like, yo, where's the guy? Wait, is it not in the law too for the guy to be here?
Yeah.
Where's the guy? Automatically in our head, adultery, that's death, bro. We're dealing with that. We're stoning that.
Yeah.
Got some stones piled up over here. I've been working on this pile for a week now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it. Yeah. Smoothing it and shaping it, right? But Christ was just like, yo, let me be patient. Let me deal with you guys. You want to deal with her in the law? Let me deal with you in the law. Where's the man?
Well,
Bring out the accuser.
Well, he's drawn in the ground.
While he's sitting there drawing on the ground, okay, check me out. I'm not even giving you eye contact. Watch how I'm going to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing we could do. He knew they were spirits. He knew they were spirits, and they have to flee when righteousness is abounding. They have to run, right? Right? So by the end of it, nobody was around to stone her. First man without sin. Go ahead, cast a stone. Go ahead. Any one of you. Dare you. Dare you. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let me get through this because this lesson is long, bro. Sirach 21:25. 126.
Gone. Sirach 21:25.
Yes. 126.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 25. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart.
Yeah. So again, looking back at it, right? Look how, and this is a perfect example of what Christ has dealt with. The man that brought out the woman, right? The ones that even brought her out for the adultery, they ran too, didn't they?
Yep.
They were opened their mouth real quick. This woman committed adultery. Real quick. Didn't examine the whole scenario. Didn't see what was going on. And messed up because they got hasty in, well, I know adultery means death, so I'm going to bring her out to kill her. And then themselves sinning. Bringing her out and you know, telling her a story without the other person that's involved in the story being there. Right?
Imagine how many times they were doing this.
They were doing it consistently, and the people fell for it. Sirach 28:25.
That was the same, like the same story with, was it Suzanne?
Yeah, and the judges, yeah.
The book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 25. And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and a bar for thy mouth.
So weigh your words, right? It means, yo, speak carefully, right? And it's better for you to just shut your mouth. Put a mask in your mouth and don't speak. Better for you, right? Get Matthew 12:34, and we're going to read down to 37.
Matthew
12. Yeah, we're going to read 34, verse 34 down to 37.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 34. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things?
You see that? So when you're out there sinning, right? Trying to go out there and street preach and minister unto people, You generation of vipers. You know, you don't know good. Right? Read.
For out the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. And an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things.
Right. So you could always examine a man now to see whether a man is wicked or not by his fruit. Read.
But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Yeah. You stepped on my shoes. I hate your guts. Immediately, you're just off and hinged, you know, not realizing, well, did he really wake up this morning to step on my shoes? You know what I mean? Guys are out there killing people for food, and not even in a scenario where they're you know, in a famine. It's just because, yo, I need the food. I want that food, bro. Like, why you cutting line from? I'm gonna shoot you down, right? So every word that we do, every action that we do, we have to take an account for it. Everything. We have to take an account for it. And everything is brought before the Most High. Believe it or not, everything. But Christ will be our mediator to handle those scenarios. Ephesians 4:26. Now this shall bring, right, a little bit more light to what the scripture means, more depth. Ephesians 4:26.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go
Let not the what?
Let not the sun.
Let not the what?
Let not the sun.
Let not the what?
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Now this gives you a little bit of depth, right? A little bit of depth to the understanding. It's okay. Be angry. I gave you anger. I gave you sadness. I gave it to you. But don't sin, and don't be in your anger when that sun goes down. Because I gave you everything how to deal with it. Listen, I done told you the offense came through a spirit, whether it was in you or the other person. Because you sometimes the one that's has the offense is the one that caused the offense and don't even know it. Right? So be angry, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, because the angels bring that forth to the Most High, and now when your day comes, he's bringing it forth. You see, if the angel, right, hears you, curse or whatever, right, he's bringing it to the Most High regardless. If you do good, it's going to the Most High regardless. Every night as that sun sets, every night. And trust me, if you don't have Christ on your side, right, you will pay for it. And not to say you're going to go scot-free for everything, because, listen, ignorance, right? You know that saying, ignorance was bliss? It has some weight to it, don't it? Because now what? We were ignorant to certain things. Now we know we can't be doing it. But then now we know we got a judgment coming to us based on that. See? So it says, Paul tells us that there are times when things may make us upset and angry. This is normal. However, in these moments, how do we handle ourselves? Do we allow our emotion of anger to overtake us and cause us to sin? How many times have we been in a situation where we got mad and said evil things, and only to realize after emotions have subsided that the things we said were bad and we shouldn't have said them at all? And not just the emotion of anger, but other emotions that can cause us to speak evil towards our brothers and sisters as well. We must learn to discipline, self-control, and balance our mouths, tongues, and the words we speak or the words we speak, as we will have to give an account for these things that we say. Remember, demons are looking to cause offenses. And what better way than by getting the victory in our emotional weak moments and seducing us to say evil things towards one another. That's their whole job. To deal with what we read in Leviticus, cut off Israel. Remember, we read that. So if we're doing it intentionally, we are cutting ourselves off. Then therefore, Christ don't got to come back and they can do their things here on earth with the Sodomites. Right?
Yep.
We'll live and be wicked for the rest of our lives, man. We're good. In peace. And we're trying to find a way for this body not to die so we can live forever. So while we're getting Israel cut off, we're looking to live forever as homosexuals. Because we can't produce babies. We can't make family, right? We can't no longer prolong this worth. So this is why it's such with intent. They're trying to figure out the God gene. Let me figure out how to be eternal. You see it? It's deep. Right? Okay, let's get a nice example. All right, let's get a nice example. I'm gonna put this link in the chat too, guys.
Well, this was recent.
This is some recent stuff. All right, check this out. I'm gonna put it in the chat. We ain't watching no videos right now, but hey, can you Moose, can you put the link that I'm gonna put in the chat in the WhatsApp group? Can you do that? And guys, you guys can pull this up in your phone and check it out later, right? It'll be in our WhatsApp. Let me just throw this in here. I want everybody to kind of follow along with what's happening here, right? Okay, I think that goes out. Oops, I put the wrong, sorry, 1 second. That's not the link I'm looking for. Here, how do I do this? So I'll tab, and then, wait.
Please.
How do I do this?
Please.
Okay, Control C. Moose, you may have to do this. I have it there, but it's not. No, that's not it. Yeah. Yeah, I did that, and then I hit copy, but for some reason. I did that. Let me see here. I'm just trying to erase what it pasted in here. It's pasting our link. 1 second, family. Sorry. All right. So we go to this. No, what did I do? What's that? No. Right? And then I'll go here. See, I want this. All right, what I'm gonna do is just post the whole article.
Yeah.
Since it wants to be.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
If it even allows me to. Yeah. Copy. Is it because this thing? Oh, I get it. It's not because it's not activated. It's not letting me do it. Yeah. Okay. Forget it. All right, guys. I want you to look up. Moose, type this in for me. This is on the CNN website, right? This article here. This is something that happened recent. Okay? And this could only happen in the time of high emotional instability. Okay? This is deep. This is deep. Check this out. So how do I go back? No, I'll go hit that and that. All right. Type this in there for me, Moose. 3 family members charged in a shooting death of a security guard who told the customer to put on a face mask.
Right to death.
You see that? This is deep on a whole, right? Remember, hey, listen, I'm thinking right now, the elders, right? they've been saying everybody that's been compromised now, right? That works for works for like Walmart and everything. They're now overlords of the people when they come in, right? You gotta sanitize, social distance, stand there, don't move, right? And they're like, and then when the people get upset, I'm only doing my job. I'm only doing my job,
Yep.
right? Now check this out. A security guard, you got it? A security guard gets shot to death for saying, put on your mask. For put on your mask. This is in CNN. It just happened, what is it, May 5th.
Michigan security guard mask.
That's the one. At the family, hey, check this out. The dollar store.
The Family Dollar.
Check this out. Why a security guard is needed at the dollar store, I'm not sure, but check this out. He's dead because of COVID. The emotion, now check this out. People are willing to go to jail and check, is that Minnesota? Where was it? Michigan. They probably don't have the death penalty. But look, they're willing to ruin their lives, right? A family. This is not like a bunch of, guys and friends. I want to show off myself. This is a family, going to shop at the dollar store, murders a security guard, right? This can only happen in an unemotional, hinged state. This is the only thing, right? Says here, read that from y'all.
Yep. And this Friday, May 1st, 2020 photo. Yep. Okay, let's just explain the photo. 3 family members have been charged in the killing of a security guard who told a customer at Michigan Family Dollar Store to wear a state-mandated face mask, officials said on Monday. Calvin Mullerin, 43, died at Flint Hospital after he was shot in the head Friday, said Michigan State Police Lieutenant David Kaiser. Remanoia Trayvon Bishop, 23, Larry Edward Teague, 44, and Sharmal Lash Teague, 45, have been charged with first-degree premeditated murder, along with other charges, the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office said in a statement on Monday. Sharmal and Larry Teague are married. Bishop is Sharmal's son, according to the prosecutor's office. From all indications, Mr. Mullerin was simply doing his job in upholding the governor's executive order related to the COVID-19 pandemic for the safety of store employees and customers, Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton said in the statement. Mullerin got into a verbal altercation with Sharmal Teague after telling Teague's daughter she needed a mask, according to the prosecutor's office. Surveillance videos confirmed the incident, Layton said. Sharmal Teague's daughter left the store, but Teague began yelling at Mullerin, who then told her to leave the store and instructed a cashier not to serve her. The prosecutor's office said, under an executive order from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, all retail employees and customers have to wear a face mask. Footage also shows that immediately after the altercation, the woman left in the SUV, but about 20 minutes later, the SUV returned. 2 men, identified as Bishop and Larry Teague, entered the store. According to the statement, one of them yelled at Mullerin, how you say that?
Yeah,
Munnerlin, about disrespecting his wife, Layton said. The other man, later identified as Bishop, then allegedly shot the security guard, the statement said. This is senseless. Over a mask. Mullerin's cousin, Tina James.
So even their own family, right, is condemning him on it. But look at this, right? Look at it, read the charges that they got to deal with right now. They went to go to the dollar store, right? They went to the dollar store. This is the dollar store. This is what we do with our luxury right now on our daily basis, right? And look what happened. Read it, go on.
In addition to the murder charge, Bishop also faces charges of felony firearm and carried a concealed weapon, the prosecutor's office said.
Now, you see, this on a whole, right? Everybody loses in a scenario. The family of the security guard that's making minimum wage, right? During COVID, wouldn't have woke up that morning thinking, oh, this brother probably don't even have a gun on him.
He went and got it. He left and come back.
The security guard?
Yeah, I read when you were gone, yeah. Yeah, not the security guard.
The people didn't have the gun on them. They
Yeah.
went, yeah, but I'm saying the security guard himself
Oh.
probably didn't boast up himself. Hey, gotta wear a mask,
Yeah, right.
right? He didn't do that. He's like, put on a mask.
Yeah,
You know. So he's being what? Lord over the people, right? He used to be the one stocking the shelves. Now promoted to be the lords of the people. I'm just doing my job. Put on your mask, right? He's dead.
Yeah.
All his family's mourning him, senseless murder, this and that. Still don't even know why he died. They don't know the reason. They don't know why. In their head, they're like, well, this is just senseless. No, this was people operating emotional.
Yeah.
You dissed my wife. How great of a diss could he really have did? You know what I'm saying? In this whole scenario, for him to lose his life. And now the man's facing murder charge, faces charges of felony firearm and they threw the book, carrying concealed weapon. He's going away. And then the other brother faces 2 felony firearms related to charges. One charge of felon in the possession of a firearm. One charge, it's going to go on and on.
300 years.
350 years, right? Most likely.
They sound like black names, yeah.
It don't even matter. I'm just saying, it don't even matter what the color is. I'm just saying, listen, anybody in their right mind would do that? Yeah.
Knowing you're going to get caught because
Yeah, you're on camera. Hundreds of people out there social distancing and watching you with their mask in the store, outside the store, lined up. What, do you think there was nobody there?
Yeah.
Everybody's on edge. Everybody's the enemy. And they're all opened up. The Spirit knew when he woke up that morning, I gotta get you for murder, boy. And when I get inside in the jail, I got some more coming. I got some bigger brothers coming with me. I did my work out here. I want to go inside now.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you're getting out of jail? I'm going to make you get into a fight, put you in the hole.
That's right.
Listen, this is against us that know all of this. This is just against us. Right? And the quicker we get ourselves balanced, is the quicker we save ourselves for righteousness. Right now, we're in hellfire being unbalanced.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just like, yo, listen, it's hell. Like, you're going to hell, bro. There's nothing I can say to you or do about it. The longer we continue in this, the harder it's going to be. Baptized or not.
That's true.
Right? Let's get Revelations 3 and 10. If this was applied right at that moment, brother knew where he was going. No, but I'm saying, if this was applied when the altercation happened between the security guard and the family that woke up in the morning and said, hey, we got to go to the dollar store. If this was applied, right, then they would have survived. They wouldn't be dealing with felony charges and murder one. You know what I mean? Read Revelations 3 and 10.
The book of Revelations, chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
Because thou hast kept my word, the law, the understanding of my patience, right? This is Christ. Read.
I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
I will keep you from shooting a guard in the head at the dollar store. I will keep you from sinning against your brother and your sister. Right? I will keep you from sinning against yourself and defiling yourself. Read.
which shall come upon all the world.
All the world will be faced with these diverse temptations. Nobody's exempt from this. Read.
To try them.
To do what?
To try them.
To try them to see if they're worthy of my kingdom. Knowing the truth or not knowing the truth. Read.
That dwell upon the earth.
Every single one. So even when Christ came here in the flesh, wasn't he tempted? Did the Most High be like, yo, that's my son, don't even try that thing, don't even deal with him? Nah, even he got tempted. So what, we know the truth, we ain't supposed to get tempted? Luke 21:19. If this was applied, the brother would have went home, paid his bills, right? He wouldn't have woke up in the morning, lost his life, you know. We went home, paid his bills, you know, got to enjoy his family or whatever. And then the same for the family that went there. I'm certain they have children, right? Now the children probably ended up in the state custody. Cousins are saying, man, look at you guys are wicked and evil. Well, they're wicked and evil the same way. Luke 21:19.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls.
Read that one more time.
In your patience.
In your what?
In your patience.
In your what?
In your patience.
In your patience. Let me hold up. You just dissed me. Actually, you just dissed my wife. And indirectly, you're dissing me. I have a gun at home. Should I jump in my car right now, drive home, get my gun, and shoot you in the head? Or should I just say shalom? And go buy my essentials in the dollar store? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted to Baltimore. This chick is just being really rude.
Yeah.
You need a cart to come in here. I'm like, I just need one thing. Well, that's the rule if you want to shop in the shalom.
Shalom, peace. Exactly. Other people be standing there arguing till the police roll up. You start resisting, boom. Either going to jail or shot. Because they're on a Black Lives Matter. We're the people, the city, the civilization, the people are the enemy right now. And she's resisting, taser or shooter or whatever. They're hinged. They're wound up. They're wound up right now. Every morning they're waking up. Yo, you see this? You squash this right away. I don't want to see no type of protest in Alberta. She's resisting. She's the enemy. She's a terrorist, killer. Right? Yo, listen. We have to use our patience. We have to use our patience. We be like, hold on. That's dumb. I'm going to the dollar store to probably spend about $15. Right? This is dumb. Why am I going to jail for that? Let's get the last one. I think there's a couple more, but we're almost done, family. We are in the hour of temptation, right? Which is the time that every person on this earth will be tested and tried with all temptation immanageable. Immanageable. Okay, man, tongue tied today. The lust of our desires, the lust and our desires of our hearts can cause us to sin, chasing after the things of this world. That brother was chasing after pride. You diss my wife, you diss me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm willing to go to jail because you dissed me. I'll go to jail. I'll serve the rest of my days, my life, because you dissed me. Right?
And now your wife's open to be dissed by everybody.
Now check this out.
Every
And let me show you the conundrum in all of this, right? Let me show you the whole thing. This whole time, right? This brother dissed the man's wife. On a daily basis, the system is dissing him. The system is breaking him down systemically, destroying him, dissing him, disregarding him. He's got no respect amongst authority. But the security guard, I can exact my power on you. It's got to be a spirit. It's got to be a curse. Because you won't fight the system, but you'll fight this brother making minimum wage at the dollar store.
Yeah.
It's a curse.
Like Aunt Christmas was saying, now you're gone away and she's left to be dissed by anyone.
by anybody, defenseless. She's now, it's a very good example. She is defenseless in this time. He probably went there with her because of COVID.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have rolled there in the first place. Why am I going shop with you?
Right.
But through this COVID, there may be some brothers writing, Black Lives Matter, whatever the case is going on. I'm going to follow you and escort you.
And he killed that security guard out of anger, whatever. But when Esau come to get him to arrest him, he didn't do nothing.
He ain't fight. Was there a shootout? I didn't read it. Yo, check in there if there was a shootout. Was there a shootout? Was there a shootout? Did he say, yo, I'm going to hold courts in the street?
No.
He didn't do that, did he? Oh. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, I mean, look at it. He's inside right now and saying this. And each and every one of us has done this. I screwed up.
Yep.
Right? Why did I do that? Maybe he went in and, you know, probably was boasting. I killed this guy, you know, this dad, blah, blah, blah. He dissed my wife, and then had some more time to himself and be like, why did I do that? Why am I here looking at the four walls?
Right.
I did that so many times.
You just gotta lay down. You just gotta lay down and go to sleep. I'm going to sleep. Right? I done messed up, didn't I? I really messed up this time. Boy, I messed up big. You know, he say this in his head. He's not saying it out. Boy, I messed up big time this time.
Yep.
Look at the bed. Probably even the jails are full, so you know you got to get the floor.
Yeah. Double,
Man's ain't giving you their bed right now, so you're sleeping on the floor. Let me get the corner. Let me hug the toilet. I messed up now. I could have been home with my $15 items at the dollar store, enjoying my stuff. Hugging my wife. I messed up now. Right?
Jeez.
She called him on the phone the next day. Hey, this next brother dissed me.
Yeah.
What up? Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm leaving you. You can't protect me.
Yeah.
Right? All of this. Yo, this spirit, listen, that spirit was like, okay, I'm done with you. Bring me somewhere where I can affect more.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it says here, instead of building our riches towards the kingdom and doing the Father's will, patience is a key factor in giving us emotional balance and understanding that to sacrifice the things of this world now will mean great riches in the life to come. Remember, Paul told us that we must run this race with patience, right? And if we lose our patience, it will bring forth emotional instability, causing us to lose balance, fall, and not to be able to possess our souls. There is much more distress on this, much more to discuss on this topic, if it be the Most High's will. More parts to this lesson will be coming in the following weeks, as we are just scratching the surface dealing with this particular topic. In the meantime, brothers and sisters, seek, pray, and learn to have balance in Yeshua, so that we can conquer our emotions while living in these unstable times. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. That was a good lesson.